My name is Brandon Feldkamp, and this is my presentation on an empirical study of web vulnerability discovery ecosystems. During the presentation, I'm going to cover an introduction, keywords, the problem, solution, and then my thoughts. The paper covers an empirical study on 2 web vulnerability discovery ecosystems. These are organizations' use of automated web vulnerability scanners to prevent web exploits, data breaches, and help lead to web vulnerability discovery ecosystems. Analyze the influence of monetary rewards or bounties for the positive correlation of vulnerabilities reported. Basically, they are trying to find out ways to increase these ecosystems and make them thrive and make them grow so people start using them more. And monetary rewards and bounties are a big piece of getting these white hats to help produce these vulnerability discovery ecosystems. Keywords. Bug bounty is a deal offered by many websites and software developers by which individuals can receive recognition and compensation for reporting bugs, especially those pertaining to exploits and vulnerabilities. These programs allow the developers to discover and resolve bugs before the general public is aware of them, preventing incidents of widespread abuse. Vulnerability discovery is a process that addresses the problem of a system being exploited by intruders and the use of algorithms known as vulnerability discovery models. Vulnerability disclosure is the practice of publishing information about a computer security problem and a type of policy that stipulates guidelines for doing so. The white hat is an ethical computer hacker or a computer security expert who specializes in penetration testing and in other testing methodologies to ensure the security of an organization's information systems. Without the white hats, there would be none of these discovery ecosystems. These guys basically are the backbone of creating these groups and helping protect the internet. So the problem that they were trying to figure out was, there's a conflicting research on vulnerability discovery and if vulnerability disclosure programs were beneficial to society and companies. Most of these studies had taken place only focused on the software security and vulnerability discovery tools and not necessarily the groups that were creating these fixes. So this created less use of white hats in the discovery ecosystems, and they're trying to figure out how to grow them, make them more used amongst different companies. So they studied these 2 large discovery ecosystems, HackerOne and Wuyun. They collected data from both companies and sorted out information in categories such as vulnerability type, severity, the organization website, and then the organization sector of the company that was using them. Some interesting numbers on Wuyun was they opened up in 2010 and attracted more than 7,500 white hats. They found 6,400 vulnerability reports, and they report to 17,000 different organizations. But this one specifically launched in China, whereas HackerOne is based in the United States, and they didn't have as much information on that because it was all private information. Wuyun has specific reports every 45 days on new fixes they find, and that made this data set real easy for them to sort through. They observed when companies were not getting money from the bounties, white hats still made contributions to the internet to make the internet safer. So even without receiving these bounties and reward programs, these white hats were still contributing to fix these vulnerabilities. In conclusion, after looking at all the data they analyzed, they believe that if these vulnerability groups release more information about the discoveries, more companies will start using them. It'll be less of a secret per se. Increased number of bounties to be paid to increase more hats to join an ecosystem. Currently, Twitter, Google, Facebook, they use these companies to help find exploits to save them time. but they also give the bounties. If they increase the number of bounties or the value of, or set a base value for these ecosystems, they'll start getting more fine or fixes for them. They think that creating a reward-based system should increase the number of white hats. Also, maybe even create a flat rate cost for these bounties so they can find these fixes. My thoughts on the research was that it was pretty straightforward, that if there's more money to be made in that program, there's going to be more people that are willing to help find these vulnerabilities. If companies are interested in having a lot of these vulnerabilities fixed for them without having to do anything, it's a great thing for them to join. I think these are going to be growing as time goes on, as they keep doing good work, and I think that increasing a bounty or setting up set payments would be a way to help grow these.